Hey everybody, JJ here with Thrivestry. We're going to talk about the jerk strength focus. This is the next 6-week strength focus that we're going to be doing, and so I want to cover some of the basics. The cycle before this one had some presses, and if I'm using this video in a later on cycle, there's probably some shoulder prep we've done going into this cycle. So we want to make sure people they have the flexibility, but also we've created some helping do some extra stability and work for their shoulders as well. So one of the things I do recommend people do for people who do struggle with lockout and struggle with overhead position is a lot of overhead carries. So in their warm-ups, they should be doing single arm, dumbbell and kettlebell overhead carries to help create some more of that stability that we're looking for in those overhead positions, in addition to just doing mobility. You know, if we just create more range of motion, but we're not actually training the muscles neurologically so that they have the right positions, then we're not doing people any real favors. So this is a strength focus will be pretty straightforward. We're going to be adding either sets or reps every workout as they go, or adding reps or weight every time they do this. Now it can be either a push jerk or a split jerk. Now most beginners by far should just stick with the push jerk so they can be thinking a lot more about the other portions of the dip and then the lockout, the bar path. We want to make sure that one thing that we've noticed a lot is that people tend to have a lot more forward head postures, I think from being on their phones too much. And so in the last 10 or 15 years I've been doing this stuff, I've seen people connecting on their chin. It seems like a little bit more often. Now I think that might have to do with the fact that we're all starting to do this so much. We're on the computer too much. So really be aware people need to have that chin back. We want to create a nice shelf with the shoulder. Obviously, one mobility that we want to keep in mind is not just the overhead mobility, but also the rack mobility too. So making sure that people are flexible enough to get into a really good rack position. And then the big deal is we don't want to see people doing too deep of a dip, right? A lot of people, the tendency is to try to go really low, which makes it turn into more like a thruster, which means they're going to be tipping forward, and that's usually when they're losing it out in front and hitting themselves in the chin is because they went too low and they dropped their chest, right? So making sure that people understand how to stay vertical on this, and then again, and how shallow but aggressive that movement is. So some people may start with the push jerk, and then they may go to a split jerk after they've kind of gotten the technique down better. So that's one way we do it. And then some people may start with a split jerk the entire time. That's fine. So the key is that we're doing a heavy shoulder to overhead, either push jerk or split jerk. Now, one thing that we want to point out with people, especially the beginners, is that with the push jerk, the loads are starting so light that they'll push press it, right? And we need them to be practicing the jerk. If they push press it a whole bunch of times and then they start jerking once it gets heavy, the problem is that they're not practicing the jerk, and this is a skill, so they need to practice the jerk even when they could push press it. And then we are going to be adding weight or adding volume to every set. So they need to understand that they will, by the end of this, it should be weights they have to jerk, not just ones that we're practicing jerking. But those first couple of weeks, it should be that. Now, a couple pointers on the split: make sure that people understand that their feet are not going totally straight forward, straight back, that they're going out slightly at a slight angle. So if you were looking overhead, we're doing this with the feet, right? The other thing is we don't want one foot to move a little bit and then the other foot to move a whole lot. If these were two cars driving away from each other, one car going 20 miles an hour this far is going to take twice as long as two cars going 20 miles an hour each, going like that, which combined is 40 miles an hour, right? So both feet need to move, and they need to go wide to create stability. And we need to make sure that knee is bent, that their glute is engaged, so that they're protecting their lumbar. One thing we always want to watch out for is hyperextended jerks. Is really dangerous for people's backs, because we'll have a tight hip flexor, they'll straighten their knee, and then they'll hyperextend to the tight shoulders, and then they end up with a tweaked back. We can actually bulge discs forward, right? And so that's something that can be pretty sketchy. So we want to avoid that. We make sure people are bracing, that their glutes firing, that they're bending their knee, that they're stable and firm. And we have all these first few weeks to get all that stuff ironed out before it starts to get heavy. So hopefully that beeping's not too annoying. That's it for today, guys. Jerks with the strength focus. I'll see you in the next video.